This meeting is being live streamed.
Yeah.
Uh, hello and welcome to the Anti-Diet Health Club. I am Leah Horton, if you don't recognize me, intuitive eating counselor and the creator of this group. And I am currently fighting COVID. So if I sound funny or have a coughing fit, that is why. But I did not want to delay this again because today I have Amanda with us, and Amanda and I worked together earlier this year, and I am so excited to give you an opportunity to share your story and what has changed for you. You have been an absolute gem, and yeah, I don't want to talk too much. Why don't you just go ahead and like introduce us to you and your situation?
Yeah. So hey, I'm Amanda. I live in Mississippi. And I reached out to Leah. Like I'd seen her stuff on social media and was super interested and finally was like, I just need to work with her because we just need to do something different. Had always been dieting and trying everything and all the products and all the, just different lifestyles and things like that. And nothing seemed to work. I would gain the weight back, be super unhappy, and we're in this like super vicious cycle. Um, so when I reached out to Leah, I was just like fed up and had enough and not in a great place, not where I wanted to be. So Leah changed all that. And so it's been, how long has it been? It's been how many months now? Like it's been awesome. Like it's been really good. But yeah, it's like, what was life like before, Leah? I don't know. I don't want to remember
I
that.
remember that the big challenge for you was especially like around emotional eating and like you felt like you were overeating. So I think that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you were kind of getting to the point where you were fed up with the dieting kind of like off the wagon, but the pendulum had kind of swung the
Oh
other
yeah.
way a bit. Can you
Oh
tell
yeah.
us
No,
about that?
it was hardcore. Like the pendulum, it was just like where we were like, screw it, we're gonna eat whatever we want. But then we weren't feeling well.
Mhm.
And eating to the point where I was not feeling well and feeling kind of sick. So Leah helped me reel that back in real quick. And that was really awesome because that was the problem. I also have a PCOS diagnosis, and so I am insulin resistant, and that can kind of create some issues with like hunger and fullness and things like that. But that has greatly improved. Um, I don't, it's been very like I can't remember the last time where I remember eating, um, even like emotional eating or eating to the point where I felt like sick, like I felt ill. I can't remember the last time that's happened to me. So that's a really good sign. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
and like that was like a weekly occurrence for
yeah,
you, like
yeah,
multiple times a week.
yeah, it was not good. Yeah. And so it was nice to kind of get out of that mindset and stop myself from doing that. And we used to um, when I first started with Yulia, I was like, oh no, we can't have those foods in the house. Like Cody and I, my husband and I, we can't bring that in the house. We just can't. We have no self control, at all. Can't handle it. And that's not true anymore. So that's kind of nice too, to be able to be like, yeah, let's get that. We can have that. It's all
Mhm.
good,
Yeah,
and
things can stay in the pantry for weeks. You don't
yeah,
have to worry about it.
we just cleaned out our pantry. We're like, oh, that's expired. We need to get rid of that. So, and that's been good too. It's been good for him too because he's also kind of felt some positive like runoff from your program too. So that's been
Hmm.
nice. We also don't stress out about meal planning like we used to. That's been a lot easier. And like even this week, with it being like a short week, um, we like came up with our meal plan real quick, and it was not, we're not stressing out. It was really easy, and it's just been, the quality of life has been better. We'll put it that way. Like
Hmm.
it's a much better quality of life,
Hmm.
much
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah, if you're open to it, I would love to just talk about like, so having PCOS and insulin resistance. Like one of the things I hear a lot from people is like diet control and like losing weight is like the thing that is usually suggested by their medical team or whatever, or you just Google like how do I manage PCOS and you get all of these like don't eat sugar, don't eat gluten, don't eat this, don't eat that. Have you noticed a difference in your symptoms or managing your medical stuff while practicing and being an intuitive eater and still
Oh,
allowing yourself to have the things you want?
yes. Oh my gosh, tremendously. And I think too, the most important lesson I think I learned from you, like with intuitive eating, is just to listen to my body. Like if I eat, something with gluten in it, I don't beat myself up over it. I'm just like, how am I feeling right now? And if it doesn't feel right, then we may lay off of that for a while. But if I'm not, having symptoms or it's not making anything, upset or anything like that, then I'll have the bread and I'm not going to worry about like being on a diet. But yes, like that was the biggest struggle, because that's all they tell you to do with PCOS is lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. And there's just things going on that's not, that's not it. That's not
Mhm.
the solution. So my symptoms have greatly improved.
I love hearing that. Good. Um, I had a question and I just lost it. There we go. Thanks, COVID brain.
I know.
So what would you say? So you're somebody that has like an extensive history with dieting and like battling the scale and all of that. And now I remember like on I think our last session, you're just like, it's all gone. Like I'm out of diet culture. We're moving on. What would you say are the things that kind of allowed you to have that shift? Or like what were the biggest like takeaways or lessons, I guess, that allowed you to really let go of diet culture for good?
It really was you and all of your resources that kind of instilled in me in your program, because a lot of it started with social media and like clearing out some of that just crap that we get bombarded with. So and I know that sounds kind of silly. It's like, well, so you cleaned out your social media, like who cares? And it's like, no, but it makes a big difference because you want to, even in the virtual world, surround yourself with people who kind of have your same beliefs in terms of that and not have all this, you need to buy this or you need to be on this diet or you need to look like this. And that's just not true. Like you don't have to look like a certain standard. Um, and then also too, like with your program, um, you you really just inspired me to make a lot of changes, like personally, like at home. And, we cleaned out our closets and I got rid of stuff where I was just hanging on to it, where it was like, oh no, I'm going to fit in that one day. And I'm like, I don't care. You don't fit in it. You never fit in it. So get rid of it. Let somebody else have a shot at like enjoying the outfit or whatever and
Mhm.
being comfortable. And so that's such a big thing. Like now, like I'm so much more comfortable in my clothes and you know I'm not like stressing about losing however many pounds to fit in that one thing, like it just isn't like it's like it's just life changing. It is. It makes a huge difference. um I told you my quality of life has greatly improved and that's part of it too. But I think the mind shift is just you like just meeting with you and like talk like having you to talk through everything that makes all the difference. Like I gotten like an intuitive eating workbook and that's great, but it doesn't do this. It doesn't have the same effect, like you need somebody who's kind of like pushing you, because I had my bad days, just like anybody else, but it was nice having you there, as a resource. And even like you're so great about being active on social media and putting really good stuff out there, and you put stuff that's factual and not just crap. It's not made up, but you have a lot of really good resources to help people, and it makes a huge difference. Huge
Mhm.
difference.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's my biggest like it basically my mind shift. It was because of you. It was like just it would end it just kind of was like a slow like here we go. And I
Mhm.
remember like texting, I'm gonna be like, I cannot wait to text Leah or show Leah this picture of all the, garbage bags of clothes that we just got rid
Mhm. Well, I think it's really important to to that you point out that it is this slow, gradual push. I think a lot of people, and this is kind of like a diet culture type of mindset of like, go big, go home. You expect a change, immediately. And what we're doing is we're kind of deprogramming our brain from diet culture and relearning like a new way we want to be with ourselves and our health. And it does take time, and it's not something that you can just magically flip the switch and expect to be done. So it is very much a gradual shift. And it's so important to have that the systems, the support systems around you, whether that's a coach or changing your social media feeds to support the message you want. It's so, so important to have that in your environment as much as humanly possible for it to actually stick.
Oh, yeah. And I think too, I just felt so validated after like I would talk to you and it's like, you've gone through kind of the same, progression and you've kind of been there. And so to have someone say, yeah, well, I still get feelings like that some days, but it's, you just have to kind of take a step back and, just
Mhm.
realize what's going on and how, just how ingrained diet culture is in our, in our minds. Like I'm still like, oh, a thought will pop up and I'm like, God, when is
There
this
it
going
is
to
again.
be? Yeah, when is this?
I Yeah, so I have COVID right now, and so like my appetite hasn't been there, and I've been, just laying in bed, not doing anything. And I even had the thought of like, well, maybe you lost weight, like not eating for 3 days. And it's just crazy that that's like even like a positive in my mind still, even after doing all of this work. It's like, okay, even if I did lose weight, it's not in a healthy way
Yeah,
whatsoever. Like literally ill.
no, I
But it
get it.
creeps in there.
It does because you're like your first instinct is to go run over to a scale and be like, how many pounds did I lose? Because I'm not eating anything, and it's like,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I mean, it's just normal. It's just what we've always dealt with. Like that's,
Mhm.
I mean, I can remember being in high school and somebody was like, "Oh man, they've been so sick and they've lost like 15 pounds." And like your first thought is, God, I want to lose 15 pounds. I wouldn't mind getting whatever that is. It's like, no, no, no,
Right.
no, no, no. You don't want that.
Was there anything about the coaching process that like surprised you or was like unexpected? I know a lot of people go into it not really knowing what to expect. So it always is interesting to me.
I think the whole thing kind of surprised me, honestly. Like I was like, well, what, like you go in going, what can Leah like teach me? But I think I was just surprised, like at what you kept bringing like to the table. Because I'm like, oh, I didn't, I didn't think about that. Or like you have all these just great resources. Like you brought in Christina. I mean, you brought in all these just great partners too to just kind of level up what you're, coaching. So that I mean, I I guess like I knew that I was like big on Leah's gonna help me like expand my toolkit, on how to handle this stuff. And I think the biggest surprise was like just how big your toolkit was. And like I don't think I was expecting that. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have like a little list of things that Leah can teach me, but it ended up being so much more than that. So
Yeah. I think that a lot of people say that it's like it's so much more than just the food, right?
mhm.
Or even, or even just body image, right? It's I don't even know how to describe it. It is like 'cause how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so it tends to have this effect, this domino effect to impacting so many other things, not just, how you view the number on the scale or what's on your plate.
Oh no, absolutely. Like it's a mindset. It's emotional. I feel like it's emotional growth more than anything. But it's also just, you know, you hear people talking about like, oh, you need to honor your body, and you're like, yeah, yeah, okay, and it's like, yeah, yeah, we'll just say I honor my body, and that's it. It's over.
Mm,
Really is like it really makes a difference when you take time and actually do that and actually listen and pay attention and you know um you're not stuck in that spiral where you're doubting yourself and you're shaming yourself and all that. So you're right. It's hard to describe, but it's so much more than like, oh, I'm just gonna eat, until I'm full, or I'm only gonna. I think most people are like, oh, it's just like another form of self control, and it is, to some degree, but it's more. It's not really more. It's not really about control. It's more about just listening and being open.
Mhm. And
You know,
respecting your body,
exactly, exactly. Just showing your body respect, and it's like, okay, we've had enough. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. It's not doesn't have to be one way or the other. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. It's just your body's being like, hey, we're full, we're good, move on. Or hey, we ate
Mhm.
all that sugar. That doesn't feel good. What do we think about that? Like it's just been so different. I wish I would have found you earlier. I'll say that. But everything, I feel like you end up right where you're supposed to be. So you came right at the right
Yeah. Well, and I think like you have to be at in a certain
time.
headspace to really go
Agreed.
for it and get the most out of it. So I never push people to move faster than they need to because I think that there's a time for it. I'm curious because you loved all of the different tools and everything and resources I provide. Do you have like a favorite tool or something that maybe you still use that helps you in your journey?
Oh yeah. I have my kind of list of our self-soothing stuff that we worked on, and then our Care Bear system. Been using that quite a bit lately.
Mhm.
So I think those two, like out of everything, I think those are the two that I use like every day because
Mhm.
we, it's just nice like to have a plan and to have like a little bit of a safety net. And so I think that's been really good. Also, I've been you've inspired me to start reading more. So I have been reading more than I normally do. So that's been great. That's been a
Yeah.
really good little nugget that came out of that was I was not expecting.
Hmm. I always like that. Convert people to reading more. And you're more consistent with movement as well. You found
Yeah.
a yoga gal that really jived with you, right?
Oh yeah, like we've been doing all the things. I even started doing like I've been doing yoga, I've been doing Pilates. I found this really good guy that does Zumba because we used to do Zumba at a gym. But I have not gone to the gym since COVID. Like now I like working out at home because I don't have to worry about other people touching stuff and coughing on stuff. So we work out from home. So I've been doing like Zumba, just doing like fun stuff. So that's been good and that's been consistent. So that's been awesome.
I love that. Well, and I'm glad that you're using your coping list. That's part of like our emotional eating formula that we do. And the Care Bear thing, everybody's gonna be like, what the heck does she mean by Care Bear thing? It's basically a way of I call it a thought model way of starting to shift how you are thinking about things and if you want different results in your life. How you need to think differently to get those results. And I think it's definitely one of my favorite tools to teach, and it can be used for literally anything.
It can.
Mhm. Um, do you have like, okay, so you're like me, you're very like type A, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, and so I know that a lot of people are like, I need the structure, but intuitive eating doesn't provide me enough structure. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I think I kind of disagree with that because I feel like because I am a very structured person, but I feel like I can still have the structure that I want because we still meal plan. I mean, but we like to go out to eat, and do things like that. So I think you can, with intuitive eating, it doesn't like I think that's the whole thing. Or, the mindset is that it's another diet. Intuitive eating is not a diet. So and I have to remind myself constantly we're not in a diet. This is not like, this is intuitive eating is completely different. So it just goes to mindset. And I mean, I still have just as much structure. It's just that I think it's the harshness. It's it's not like a all or nothing type thing. That's not what intuitive eating is.
Mhm.
So I've embraced that. That's been a good change for me because I can
Mhm.
still have my structure. We can still meal plan and, prepare for the week so we're not stressed out about our meals and things like that or snacks or, whatever. Um, so I still have my structure, but it's just so much better because it's like I'm not beating myself up over having like a slice of cake or, it's like a whole, like you have to like pep talk, like, oh, we ate the cake. We're off the wagon. Now we have to get up, back on the wagon and we have to talk ourselves into getting back on the wagon.
Mhm.
It's not that. So that's been fantastic for me. Like there's no, you know, we've gotten rid of that vicious like cycle.
Yeah, there's a framework, but it allows for enough flexibility for just life and
Yeah,
enjoyment. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Where do you think you would be right now if you hadn't done this program?
Um, I hate to say this, would probably still be in kind of a dark place. When I reached out to you, I was kind of at a dark place in terms of like body image and just beating myself up over, we were in that like screw it mentality, and that wasn't a good place to be either. So I am so thankful that I started your program when I did because I probably would not be in the place I am now. So that's been it's been eye opening, but it's so good too. And I feel so supported. And I'm so glad too that I joined your program for another year.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and I'm so glad you did that. I was so thrilled to see that email because I was like, sign me.
Sign me up.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
the community that you've built, and I think having your support constantly and um I just think that's setting myself up for success. And probably your other clients, I hope, feel the same way too. Like, I hope they're signing up too. Because I just think, like when the program ended, I was like really sad. Because it's like, oh, I can still like, follow Leah on social media and like, do all that. But this is like a game changer. So I'm so glad that you did that. I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too. So what Amanda's talking about is I have basically like an ongoing membership for past clients where we have a once a month workshop and once a month just open coaching call that we just get to stay in touch and keep having these conversations. And you know, this transition into an anti-diet life is not linear, it's not smooth, it's never going to go perfectly. There's always going to be something that comes up and wants to knock you off the horse, and having people there to help and have these conversations I think is really, really critical. So I'm so glad that you joined and that we get to keep working together and hopefully growing the community more and more. What would you say to somebody that's like, I kind of think I want to do it, but I don't know?
I think I'd probably tell them to just go ahead and do it. Just dive in. It's like if you're even thinking about it or you feel like you could get something out of it and you just like you need the support. Because I think that's where I was. And like I've talked to Leah, I'm following all her stuff. I just, was like, I need to just do it. And I was so thankful that I did.
Mm.
Um, because it made a world of difference. It really and it just I mean, and how it was what was it
6 months.
6 months? It was the
Mm-hmm.
fastest 6 months ever. But it just made a world of difference. But it took me a minute too. I had to like wrap my head around, it was like, you know, you do, I mean, you obviously have to pay for Leah's services, but it's worth it. And I mean, I had to look at my financials too and be like, oh, we have all these subscriptions and all this stuff. And I was like, this is part of my health. Like I need to do this. So, I definitely think, yeah, just go for it. It's great. It really is. It makes a huge difference to have that kind of support and resources. And Leah has a lot of resources, a lot of
Mm,
resources.
I do. The
Yay.
benefits of being a nerd, the learning and absorbing and
Oh yeah. I'm a full blown like Finchy now too. Like I love the app, use it every day. It's my favorite. So yay.
Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, well, Amanda, thank you so much. One of my favorite memories with you was you like came back from like a weekend away with your husband and you were like, I didn't overdo it. Like we were able to enjoy the weekend without feeling miserable and walking around and enjoying it. And I love that for you so much. And I hope that is just your norm going forward and getting out there and living your life and enjoying it and
Oh,
your
absolutely. Like
body.
we have gone on so many trips and it's been such like a much better experience because of you and like what I've learned. And we're planning more trips for next year. So we're super excited. But that was one of my things is I just wanted to be able to travel and be comfortable. And that's been a game changer because it has
Mhm.
been a much better experience. So
Seattle better be on your list.
it is. It is. We will talk more about that because I think we're going to come see you next September. So, yay.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thanks, Leah. Bye.
Bye.